one question for Alan. He and I have done more conference than we know. What was your big takeout this morning? Because I thought it was awesome.
I think the big take this morning was having two examples of people that were here last year that knew nothing and came back this year and said, hey, we learned something, we did something. But at the same time, particularly Elsie at the end saying, I'm not a social media expert, but here's what I did. And I think you could probably see the audience relax then, because you know what? We're all in the same boat. And all of the so-called experts on the stage today, we're all still learning, but I think she brought it real.
I think the morning's been really good. I think the content's been really useful. I think the key thing is the case studies. Real life recruiting, how they use social media. Ideally next year we'll have some cool case studies.
The key things for me were actually a couple of examples of people doing this. So it's not a theory anymore. It's agencies and it's corporates actually applying some of this stuff to social recruitment. So that for me was it was good to see, I guess, the evidence of that. You're doing something that you feel is quite innovative. You actually don't want to give your game away.
I want to look at a big strategy for our organisation. How can I get the grassroots guys doing this more and more and enabling them? So my big thing is to look at each individual consultant. How can I encourage them and educate them to go further than they are?
We're going to do it. We have to make sure we do it properly. Andy's talk was fantastic. You know, all is Twitter tips. You never know enough Twitter tools. There's never going to be enough ways to search all that detail, that noise. It's so rich and so useful. But it's just about taming it and actually making it something you can turn into something useful. You know, a piece of insight, a statistic, you know, finding a juicy candidate, a company that you perhaps develop a relationship with.
Old friend of mine has run a recruitment advertising agency for years.
Very informative. A lot of it's basically telling me a lot of things that I already knew, but teaching me how to put it all together and so that I can advise clients the best way to use it.
I think Eurostar are a very good example of how it can affect a business on a big scale and how people on a mass can, you know, throw flippant comments and do a lot of damage with it. So I think, yeah, Eurostar since then and straight at that point took a lot of notice and are listening to their customers, and given the current situation of what's going on now, I think it's a really good way we've learned to, where the media have maybe spun some stories, we're actually now go straight to those people and answer, reassure them, let them know what we're doing, what they can and can't do. So it's really, I think we've embraced it more.
Fantastic, really informative, lovely to see some real life case studies of recruiters using social media successfully.
It's the case studies for me which did it, and I'd like to see more of that next year, but you do need the experts to teach the new people something new as well.
But they actually talked a bit more about the authentic voice of the company rather than outsourcing to somebody else. Actually about learning to do it yourself and understanding what it is you're trying to communicate.
Recruiters actually using social media, doing social recruiting, and that's it really. I think it's fantastic. Too many people are prattling on about people not understanding what recruiting is from a recruiter's point of view, and they were great case studies.
Social media is always expanding and is pulling further and further, and I think it's difficult with a day job to really keep in touch. So I think a day like today is really useful because it gives you the opportunity to find out lots of things in one day without having to spend hours and hours and hours research.
From my personal perspective, it's about becoming informed enough to be able to take the people that are in that little apathetic group and really trying to make them aware of the value of it, because obviously I'm not going to say too much about our product, but the idea is that what I want to do is to make Broadbean as socially media integrated as possible.